Many seniors love the idea of living in a gated community. But here's the question. Are gated communities really the best option for seniors? Well, stick around and let's find out. Hi, my name is Casey. And if you've ever thought about moving to a 55 and older community like Trilogy, Glen Ivy, or the community of Terramor here in Corona, you've probably noticed these communities are gated. And here in California, a lot of new construction communities are gated, and most of the 55 and older communities are gated too. But does that mean they're actually safer? Or are there downsides to living in a gated community? Well, let's take a look and find out. And first, let's start off with the statistics. In a study conducted by the Crime and Justice Research Alliance, they found that homes in gated communities have a 33% lower risk of being burglarized than a home in a non-gated community. And I have to be honest, I really didn't expect this number to be this high. But in the same report, there were other factors that affected these numbers, and the location of a community played a big part. The study found that most gated communities were located in suburbs, and suburbs typically have a lower crime rate than bigger cities and downtown areas. And another issue had to do with population density. And this showed that apartments and condo communities, even if they were gated, had a much higher crime rate than communities made up of just single-family homes. But you have to keep in mind that walls and gates alone won't guarantee your safety. But let's dig in a little deeper and look at some of the pros and cons of living in a gated community so you can decide if it would be right for you. And let's start off with the positive things. First, and like I just mentioned, gated communities do add an extra layer of security. Now, in theory, not just anyone can drive into a gated community. And this does cut down on random traffic, and it does make a neighborhood feel more private and secure. And second, most gated communities tend to have great curb appeal. And this is because gated communities have HOAs in place to maintain the community. And in a community with a good HOA, common areas look great, lawns are well maintained, streets are clean, and everything has a consistent look. And for a lot of people, that sense of order does create a sense of pride and connection within the community. And third, many gated communities offer amenities. And this is especially true in the 55 and older communities. Things like pools, clubhouses, walking trails, and organized activities are all common in these communities. So for seniors who want activities and connections, this can make daily life much more enjoyable. And it really does build a sense of community among its residents. But unfortunately, there are some downsides to living in gated communities. And most of these issues don't get talked about much. But it is important for seniors to be aware of these things before making a decision to move into one of these communities. Now, the first issue is a gated community can create a false sense of security. A lot of people assume that once they're behind that gate, there isn't going to be any crime. But that just isn't true. The entry gate is just one layer of protection. It's not a guarantee of safety. And as much as we'd all like to think the gate will keep the bad people out, it's simply not the case. And in today's world, you really have to take additional steps in order to stay safe. Now, the second issue is just how easy it can be to get into a gated community. Many people don't realize that in the majority of gated communities, a person can simply follow a car through the gates. And there's actually a term for this. It's called piggybacking. Now, people simply wait outside the gate, wait for a car to approach, and then pull in behind that car and follow it through the gates. And keep in mind, many delivery drivers, contractors, and vendors all have codes for these gates too. So most gated entries aren't as secure as people think. But piggybacking is exactly what happens here in Terramor and Trilogy. And if you follow any of the neighborhood groups, people complain about this issue all the time. And third, there is a cost associated with having a gated entry. Most gated communities have HOA fees that cover the cost of managing, maintaining, and staffing these gates. And just like everything, these costs can and almost always do go up. And finally, there is a level of inconvenience of having a gated entry. Now, when your friends, family, or deliveries come to your home, they have to navigate these gates too. And some communities, they have to be added to a guest list. And other communities make your visitors wait at the gate while they call you to confirm that you're expecting them. Now, this isn't a big deal, but at busy times of the day or on holidays, this can be a little frustrating. But there are a handful of gated communities here in Southern California that do take security much more seriously than others. And in these communities, access is limited to just one vehicle at a time. So as a car enters the gate, an arm comes down and blocks the next car. This eliminates piggybacking. And these communities usually have metal spikes installed at the exit gates too. And this stops anyone from trying to enter the community through an exit gate when someone leaves. Now, these things do cost more money, but I have been to these communities and it really does make it harder for people to get in, and it does make a huge difference. So are gated communities a good option for seniors? Well, a gated entry does add security and privacy to a community. And most of these communities offer you access to amenities and social opportunities too. And the truth is, gated communities do tend to have a lower crime rate than non-gated communities. So if these things are high on your wish list, then a gated community would be a good fit. But if you're thinking that a gated community is going to completely eliminate crime in a community, or if you'd rather avoid the costs and restrictions that come with living in an HOA community, then a gated community just might not be a good fit for you. But if you're thinking about moving to a senior community here in Corona, like Trilogy or Terramor, I'd be happy to help you through the process. And I'll put my number up on the screen, and all of my contact information is located down in the description below. Now, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.